Hello and welcome to Tall Guy Films. Today we're reviewing the LG 25UM57 25-inch ultrawide monitor. Now before we start, I need to have kind of a disclaimer. This monitor is small, really small. Now you might have seen it's a 25-inch monitor, but keep in mind that distance is measured diagonally. And when you have an ultrawide, the same distance isn't really the same as the 16:9 monitor. The vertical height of this 25-inch ultrawide is about the same as a 20-inch 16:9 monitor. So if you're looking for a budget ultrawide and not having as much vertical space as you're used to is a deal killer for you, then go ahead and click away because this monitor isn't right for you. Now, if you're okay with a smaller monitor with less vertical height and you're looking for an ultrawide, then this one might be for you, and let's go ahead and jump into the review. So let's start out with the design. Now, on the front, it's a fairly minimalistic design, nothing fancy. It's got a small bezel, which is nice, but it's nothing, exceptional to talk about. When we go over to the side, it's a thick monitor, and you start to realize that it's actually a pretty heavy monitor too. Now, it's nothing crazy. Now, we're not talking about like a cathode ray monitor, but it is thicker than most monitors. It's definitely not a thin monitor. Moving over to the back, it's a glossy plastic design. We have an LG logo. There's an information sticker, and that's about it. From the input, we have two HDMI ins, power, and a headphone jack, but nothing too fancy again, pretty minimalistic. Moving over to the stand itself is pretty stiff. You can adjust the angle, but you can't adjust the height. And the assembly is a bit weird, and I'll put a link to me assembling the monitor somewhere up here. There's also a nice little cable routing tab, which is nice to have, but it's nothing, again, exceptional. Moving on to the screen quality. The screen quality is very good. There's a very high pixel density because keeping in mind this is a 2560 by 1080 monitor crammed into what is essentially a 20-inch 16:9 monitor with little extensions added on the end. The colors aren't perfect out of the box, but a little bit of tweaking will get things looking really good. There's also good viewing angles. There is a bit of a glare on the screen in bright light, but it's nothing too bad, especially in an indoor setting, and I don't think you'll be using this monitor outdoors. The monitor is also very bright. Now moving on to the menu. The menu is interesting, but it's a nice navigation style. The navigation is with a little kind of knob thing on the bottom, which is hard to explain, but once you use it, it's really intuitive and actually much better than a lot of controls I've used on other monitors. The color profiles are kind of confusing to use, but I generally don't use them, so maybe I'm just not used to them. The color calibration is also much different from most monitors. You have to control the saturation of each of the colors separately, which is annoying because I would like to have a master saturation control on the monitor. In conclusion, this is a good budget ultrawide monitor. It's nice as a secondary monitor, although I can't say I would use it as a primary monitor, primarily because the benefits you normally get from an ultrawide monitor you don't really see here. There's simply not enough vertical space, like I said earlier. You also have to consider, is an ultrawide worth it? There's not a lot of ultrawide content available, and a lot of major sites like Netflix and YouTube still don't support ultrawide monitors. There is more horizontal space, which is nice for multitasking, but like I said, the vertical space on a monitor this size just makes the multitasking not great. I personally use the monitor, which you can see right here, as a secondary monitor, and it works very well as that. That's it for this video. If you liked it, hit the like button. If not, feel free to hit the dislike button. If you have any more questions, feel free to leave a comment, and if you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe.